Hey, Pop Rockers, how are you? Paul with you right now. Hey, we've got Emily Victoria. Emily has just released her debut single, Humming Heart. Emily, how are you?
I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to be here and I'm speaking to you about your new song. We've had a few debuts recently, but your one is a little bit special. It's a good song. I'm not saying the other debuts weren't a good song, but this is your first one, so it's special to you. Tell us all about it.
So I've been working on this song probably for a few years now, and I recorded it at Sound Park with a band and a producer called Now Anzai. And then COVID happened, and then I sort of decided to put some additional production on it, synths and things, and it sort of just evolved into a completely different thing. I feel like it's been like a 3-phase process almost of like writing the song, then recording it in a particular way, and then all this post-production period.
Yep.
So yeah, but it's been really interesting.
How did you cope in lockdown with COVID? Because you're in Melbourne, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in Melbourne.
You would have had a long time in COVID
to work on things.
Yeah. Being creative,
Yes.
you would have been locked up. How did it affect you in writing the song?
So this song was actually written prior to lockdown, but I mean, I was writing a lot in lockdown and reading a lot, and I was studying still. So I just finished a major in jazz singing. So yeah.
So there's going to be more music coming out pretty soon?
Definitely. There's going to be some more music coming out early next year, and I plan to like incrementally continue to release stuff. So yeah.
All right. So let's go back to when you first sat down, put pen to paper and music. How did you come? How did the process come about? How did it evolve? What was the process? Did you go through? Did you crack open some bottles of wine, or did you just...
So I'm such a night owl. So it all happened at night, and I was in this really intense songwriting phase. I was writing like every night. I was just sitting down for a few hours, but I actually wasn't being too intense about it. I love my wine. So yeah, I was drinking quite a bit of wine, and I live in a barn at the back of my family's house, which is lovely. So I would just kind of come out, spend some time on my own. Sort of the barn's edges onto an oak tree, so I'd sort of stare into the tree and just get all dreamy. And and then the song just came out one night, and it was just one of those things. It just happened.
Yeah, cool.
And I remember writing the lyric "Humming Heart" down on the piece of paper, and then having this realization that I thought of that. I'd written that into my phone when I was 16, "Humming Heart." It was obviously something that kind of I thought about before those two words together. And then I think the song itself is about searching, and there's like a mysterious edge to it. Like the melody itself is very hypnotic. So the lyrics just sort of unfolded naturally after this melody popped into my head. I was sort of taken into this world of what that song was.
Yep. So inspiration, who do you have any role models, or did you look to any artists for inspiration? Did anyone's other music flow through you into Humming Heart?
Well, I've got lots of different influences, so I find that just through listening, you just pick up so much musical language, and then it just kind of comes through you, when you're writing. So I think, David Bowie is a really big influence for me. So when I was a teenager, I just listened to him every day. And I went to a Bowie symposium that was happening at Acme in 2016. And all these academics from all around the world came and spoke. And so it was just an enormously inspiring period of my life. And I think his love of melodies, definitely came through in this song. I think there's a little bit of a "come as you are" theme in this song. Like harmonically, it's definitely, there's some overlaps there. And then I would probably say that, interestingly, a lot of the influences for the song, for the post-production, are probably a little bit more tangible. So there's this artist called Hatchie who has just released her debut album. I really was interested in what she was doing, and saw one of her shows in Melbourne, and she writes singer-songwritery stuff, but then she puts beats onto it, and it really gets people moving and creates this beautiful world around what she's doing. So I think that's a real source of inspiration. And of course, bands like Cockatoo Twins and Lush, they have these like really dense harmonies over their melodies. So I think that's something it was just almost like, I'm going to pull that out and put this onto the song.
So, you can well, I'm totally enjoying the song. I've listened to it about 5-6 times just before he's come online. But the video clip, who's on the video clip?
It's a pretty quirky video clip, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I was really wanting to make a video clip for this song.
Yeah.
And I contacted this guy called Wilk, who I'd been recommended to, who did all the photos for the release.
Yep.
I was really keen for him to do the video, but unfortunately he was unwell.
Yeah.
And so he said to me, you need to get in touch with this guy called Jeff. I think that he will do a really beautiful job. So I got in touch with him, and he just said to me, look, I don't know what it is about this song, but I'm just seeing limbs. Like, when I hear this song, like, you know, limbs like using a dustpan and shovel, and limbs holding hands, like, they're just close-ups. And I was like, that's so random.
Yeah.
And
I would have thought more Kate Bush type, Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
Back in the day, just a little bit, you know, not as probably haunting as Kate Bush with the original Running Up the Hill and whatever. But yeah, something more. That's what that's what I picked up on it, anyway. But back to you.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm glad you picked that up. Yeah, so I think we sort of went along this whole particular pathway that I see is very like David Lynch, and you know, I sort of really got into his work like maybe 2 years before this, and have sort of watched a lot of his films, and you know, did the Twin Peaks you know, binge watch with my friend and that kind of thing. So I guess it just sort of, we really just had this storyboard of this motel manager who just like finds all these limbs in rooms, and we kind of was still like, it was Jeff, like it's Jeff's idea. He directed it all, but there was a bit of toing and froing, and so I think that he and I both agreed there needs to be some kind of unity at the end. So that's why we were like hugging each other at the end. It was really funny because I've got a really particular brain, and so I like purchased all these like costumes and things of like possibilities of what things could be, and then at the end when we hug each other, me and the dancer Nikki Tarling. She had this little black tube dress, and so I was like, I've got to have the exact same dress. And Jeff's like, it's okay, like you can just wear one of your white dresses. But I'd actually been to Spotlight that day and had this like big piece of white fabric, and so I was like, and so the producer Kira, I said to her, can you just like pin me up right now? So it's just literally a piece of fabric that I'm in with all these pins down the back. I'm hoping it's not going to fall down like when I'm standing up at the end. So it's really funny.
Cool. Hey, it's obviously your first it's your debut single. Do you get out and about doing shows?
It's a funny thing. Earlier this year I was like every week I was going out and playing. I'm not doing that as much at the moment. I think it's just a culmination of the end of study for me. I've just finished. I'm about to go traveling, about to head over to Germany in a week. So I think and I also have a teaching business that I run from home. So I've just been so flat out, and then also juggling the logistics of this release and planning new ones. But I think that is something I'd love to do in the future, but I've got a very particular idea of how I want to present on stage. And so I don't feel like I've yet really achieved that. I would like for what I do to be more like a show. So for there to be a movement element to it, which definitely I think comes across, although there's not like choreographed dancing in the video clip, I kind of want there to be additional dimensions and for people to be really drawn in, and for it to be something that people watch as opposed to just kind of
just be there. Be a part of it and enjoy it, and you know, because there's nothing worse than if you go into a show, you've got a singer just standing in the middle singing, and everyone with their cameras above their head recording it. There's no atmosphere, but if you can incorporate some moves and dances, and it just lifts the atmosphere right up, and people phones away and they're driving away and disco dancing like I do, but that's another story. Okay.
So good.
What we do, we've got a little segment we do is called Get to Know. So in this case, it's to get to know Emily Victoria. We've got 10 random questions. So these questions are completely random. Pass if you have to pass, but
Okay.
I don't think you're going to need to pass. These are pretty straightforward. This is so we can get to know who you are a bit better. Ready for the first question?
I am.
Okay, here we go. A food you cannot get enough of.
Food I can not get enough of. Spaghetti bolognese. It's not very
Cool.
sophisticated, is it?
It goes with a nice bottle of red anyway.
Yeah.
What is your go-to snack?
What is my go-to snack? Trail mix.
Trail mix? White chocolate or no white chocolate?
White chocolate, pistachio, cranberry.
What was your favourite subject at school?
Media.
Media. Yep. Fill in the gap. I can't live without.
I can't live without film, probably.
Film.
Mm.
Favourite milkshake flavour?
Caramel.
Caramel. Or are you a Swiftie or a Katy Perry band member? Camp Taylor or Cam Katie?
I think my friend has like coerced me to be Camp Taylor because he sings the best Taylor Swift in the car.
Not touching it. Hey, what do you prefer, cats or dogs?
Oh, I can't answer that one. I love them
Can't?
both so much. I've got 2 cats, 2 dogs. So.
Oh, cool. What is your star sign?
Aries.
Aries. What is your eye colour?
Blue.
Blue. And the last question, excuse me, you got to fill in the gap. My something got me into trouble.
My something got me into trouble. Oh goodness. That's the most challenging of the 10. My something got me into trouble.
For me, it's my mouth. I always get into trouble. Open my mouth, I'm in strife for something.
Yeah, probably my mouth too. I feel like I've always caused trouble with my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. It's either that or my best mate. It will go out and end up somewhere where we're not supposed to be, but so it's not. It's funny when your best mate's your dog and he's down there snoring.
Oh my goodness, so lovely.
Well, good luck with your song. We're
Thank you.
Just about to put it on so everyone can sit back and have a listen and have a watch to the film clip. So it'll come together. So, yeah, good luck with your song. Hopefully it'll get picked up and you'll get a lot more airplay. You'll become a lot more famous and we'll get a bit more music from you as well.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
So, bye.